Alright, let's do this thing. Okay. Hello, everybody. My name's Kunai Manika, and welcome back to the unboxing, where today it's time for one of the most intense unboxings that I'm probably ever going to do on the channel. Who knows, maybe, we'll see. For one, I'm pretty sure this is the most expensive individual item that I've looked at on the channel, if I'm remembering correctly. And also it's going to be the most item, probably, because this is, of course, a 7-pack. That's right, today we are taking a look at the Transformers Legacy Haslab Liokaiser set. Which it's kind of hard to tell given it's in a brown box, but okay. Context-wise, if I'm gonna be a little bit annoying, obviously I've been taking a look at these Victory Haslabs basically throughout this entire channel's like unboxing career or whatever. One of the earliest unboxings on the channel before they were really good, in any way. Was the Legacy Star Saber, and then I took a look at Deathsaurus about a year after that, because of course I did. And then of course I took a look at Omega Prime, which, as you know, was a whole disaster in its own right. It's a very good set, and in the video you won't necessarily notice because it is a good set theoretically, and I do still really love it because that Omega Prime toy is really good, but it does have some damning QC issues, which ultimately led it to be a little bit more maligned. It has a lot of issues. It breaks itself way too easily, but thankfully I've been hearing that this set, which I've gotten a little bit later from some of my peers this time, is actually good, QC-wise at least, so I guess the judgment to whether it's good quality-wise will be down to me. Now, as you probably saw in hopefully that intro that you saw initially, it comes in a case shipper box, fairly standard. It says what it is on the tin. You do have to sign for it if you are buying it initially, though if you bought it initially, you probably already have it by the time this video is out. Once you take it out of that shipper, which I'm not showing because it has my address on it, which I'm not showing it fully. In the clips that you saw, it doesn't have my address showing, but here it is just a brown shipper box on all sides. This is for protection purposes purely and only. So I guess without further ado, I might as well get it out of the box, huh? Alright, let me get up. Here we have, it'll be upside down probably when it first comes out. The Haslab Liokaiser. And we're back with the box out of its packaging. I needed to take some photography of it first, but yes, this is the actual package for Legacy Liokaiser, the Haslab project, whatever. And it is very nice. It is in a very similar box size to Omega Prime. I'm wondering if they're trying to standardize it a little bit, but at the front of the box is some very similarly styled box art of the main combiner, Liokaiser, as we have seen with the other Legacy Victory Haslabs. Makes me think that this was also a good old Guido Guidi doing the artwork here. If so, very nice. Honestly, Omega Prime kind of stands out as a bit of an eyesore. I don't super love that art. It's good art. It's really good art, but it's not as nice and like shiny and stylized as this art, where we have the main image of Liokaiser here at the front with a nice sort of grid pattern behind it to kind of replicate the way that Transformations looked in that series. The Generations logo, the Legacy logo in a nice shiny metallic purple. Oh yeah, I gotta highlight that. Then down here you get tiny little portraits of the 7 members of the Breast Force. Drillhorn, Guy-Hawk, Hellbat, Leozak, Jaruga, Kill Bison, and Death Cobra. And then below that, we have the Transformers Victory logo in Decepticon colors, and the set's name, Liokaiser. This is for ages 15 and up, so if you are a child, you should not be here. Get the fuck out of here. And the Hasbro logo is right there, because this is partially at least a Hasbro product. The top of the box gives you a CGI render of Liokaiser holding the electromagnetic nunchaku, the Decepticon Victory logo again, as well as the set's name Liokaiser again. On the bottom, you get another render of Liokaiser just kind of standing there menacingly, as well as a bunch of legalese and whatnot. Made in Vietnam, so hopes it works or whatever. Yeah, usual legalese. On this side you get more of this wonderful box art. We get the victory logo and Liokaiser again, the 7 character portraits of the 7 members of the team down the side here, as well as another nice bit of metallic print, the Transformers logo in a nice metallic purple, which is just so pretty. I love how premium these boxes tend to look, especially these victory ones having so much like vac metal all over them. They look so nice. I've kept these boxes because I have to. They're so good. On the other side, we get more metallic around boxes, which contain each of the main 6 members who actually do the combining, who were actually toys before. We have the victory logo Liokaiser right there. Then we have Liokaiser in his robot and jet mode, Skyhawk in his robot and jet mode, Kill Bison in his robot and tank mode, Jaruga in his robot and car mode, Drillhorn in his robot and drill tank mode, and then Hellbat, written Elbat, in his robot and jet mode. So pretty. Nice. I love how metallic this is. It's so good. And then on the back, it's no longer super duper metallic because there's a lot more purple, but there is still the Haslab logo in metallic, and that's where the Takaratomi logo is. The More Than Meets the Eye, Authentic, and Hasbro. We have the same victory logo, again, full render of the full combined mode of Liokaiser, as well as the bonus Death Cobra, the 7th member of this 6-member combiner team, who can be either an arm or a shoulder cannon. I'm so excited. I don't know, dude. This is exciting. I'm glad to have the 3rd. I was a bit worried because a bit of background. Hasbro Pulse is a bit of a shitty website in terms of like whatever web design. When I had this shipped to me, which again I had to sign for, I was not notified that it would be when it would be coming to my house until the day before it arrived at my house from Hasbro Pulse. Yes, I know I could have signed up for that the FedEx shipping thingy, but I shouldn't have to do that. You should just have your website work. Whatever, it doesn't matter. It's in my house now. It's in my hands. I signed for it. It's all good. All that anxiety is in the past. But yeah, that's the box. And I think I should get it unboxed, shall we? Because that's the name of the show. Hey, whoa. Carefully. This is very expensive. Open it up so that you can see on the inside. It's upside down, but on the inside, we have these 4 little cardboard inserts on the inside, which all have different numbers on them that are in old Cybertronian. I'm gonna put the box to the side so that we can go kind of box by box, because we're gonna be here a while. Again, for one, unboxings have gotten more extravagant as time has gone on. Basically since the Omega Prime, I've upped the production value more and more to a very intense point, to where I'm a little anxious about how long this one's going to run, but also because this just has a lot of stuff. So I'm gonna zoom back in. We have box number that looks like a 2. It's one of these wide boxes. You have this little pull tab. It says designed by Haslab. On the top, mine's a little dented, which is okay, but it says Transformers with the Hasbro logo in the bottom corner. This side says designed by Haslab. But yeah, I'm starting with this one because this allows us to get into the usual groove of these things, because this set comes with all the extras. So we're gonna start with the extras. So first off, this is where the instruction manual is held, and unlike previous where it's been an instruction booklet, somewhat similar to this but way bigger, it's an instruction booklet, stapled and everything. It looks a little bit washed out here, but as you can see, opening it up, it's in full color and gives you a good look at what is in every box, what should be included in your set, here in full color. Sorry to spoil it a bit. Obviously, all the transformations, first with the breast animals, then with each individual member, and then with your combination. Death Cobra seems to be last after you combine it, interestingly, I guess. Each individual member gets their transformation and then combination. Okay, I see. There's not gonna be anything crazy extra, it just shows you how the set works, but it is very nice and premium. Here's the back of that. It looks so good. I'm excited to use it. I'm gonna put it off to the side though, and I'm glad it isn't as intense as like the massive fucking instruction manual that came with like Omega Prime. That shit was bullshit. But yeah, you also get slip legalese. And outside of that, here's everything that comes in this layer. There we are. Nice. Good image of that. So, I guess going into it, the first layer is for one... I mean, technically, this is all bonuses that were added to the set with time. So I guess we'll start with I think this was stretch goal number 2, the electromagnetic nunchaku. There's a little bit of stretch goal number 3 here as well, but this is mainly stretch goal number 2. So one of Death Cobra's main weapons was this stuff called the electromagnetic nunchaku. There was like primary weapon or whatever. It's thankfully included in the set. It was a bit of a stretch goal, so it was a bit annoying to get, but that doesn't really matter now because it comes in every copy. Oh. So it's made up of these little spinny parts. I think I can probably zoom in, actually. So it first comes with these little spinny parts. They're like little saw pieces or whatever. He can throw them, and they can boomerang back to him because they're electromagnetic, and they can cut into people, which is nice to see. You get 6 of each of these parts, actually, so I guess I'll just do one part at a time and then get them all out afterwards. So second up, we have the connector parts, just these little nunchaku chains. They have some actual like plastic chainery in between them. Otherwise, they're in a nice sort of metallic bluish plastic. It looks nice, and it's nice to see these things be included. And again, you get 6 of these. And then you also get 6 spear tips. The ends are sometimes spear tipped, I think. Sorry, it took a second, but yes, we have these little spear tips. Not quite a soft plastic, so that's nice, though they are a little bit blunted on the tip. They look nice again, a little bit swirly-twirly in the plastic, but they do work as spear tips. These are mainly so that these accessories can be used by the individual members, which was never a thing in the show, I believe. But it gives each of them an extra weapon if they don't want to use their breast master, or breast animal. That's appreciated, at least. Then, of course, under a little bit of plastic, you get 6, well, sticks. It's speared on both ends with a little line in the middle, otherwise unpainted, a little bit funky with some of the plastic in some of the areas, but that's okay. And as noted, you can attach everything. You can attach the little that, you can attach the little spinny bit, you can attach the spear, and get a full electromagnetic nunchaku. It'll focus, there we are. Yes, you can get a full spear, and it's nice. And you get, again, get 6 of each, so you can do whatever you want with it. But yeah, and then alongside that, this also has parts of the next stretch goal, those being stand parts. So there's this little stand adapter included on this top layer with a port here and a port here. I think this is the stand adapter for the main Liokaiser set itself. I'll have to check, but yes, you get 2 of those. And then I think standard, somewhat from the last one, there are these purple adapters. Let me actually get all of the electromagnetic nunchaku parts out while we're here. Jeez, they're flying all over the place. Be careful with these. They kind of pop out very aggressively. 1, 2. You get a pair of stand connector pieces. These are very similar to the ones that came on Omega Primes to connect the 2 road stands that it came with. Just 2 little like studs on a little purple base. You get 2 of these. But why do you have 2 of them? Well, that's because the next layer is all focused on the stand. So let's get that out as well. Plonk that down like so. Yes, this is the stand. So it's kind of technically 3 stands. So you get 3 of these big purple, or shit, I should go back to this. So yes, you get the stand. Sorry, it was zoomed in before, as you can tell. You get 3 of these stand arms. They're a little bit gappy, but that's okay. And they have this little port, which can be used on most of the guys. And I believe this port gets used on Liozak. But yes, you have that. And then you plug in this for the sake of Liokaiser into one of them. But yes, you get 3 copies of that. You get 3 copies of the base itself, because they form a sort of the fucking trapezoid shape out of these triangle pieces, which, as you can see, has a nice grid pattern at the bottom to kind of replicate the way that they appear in the Transformers Victory opening, which is a very nice thing. Here's where the ports go if you want to have it all combined. You plug it in there, and then you plug it in there, and you get the full base. But yes, you can then plug in these stand arms here at the fucking base of the triangle. Tough fit. I'll get to that later, probably. Or you can put it in this front hole or the back hole. You can put it in either hole, and again, you get 3 arms, 3 of these smaller triangle bases so that you can do the flyers and the ground vehicles from that original Transformers Victory opening. So we can go on to wide box number 2, where we start to get actual guys. Though thankfully it does start with some more accessories, so we can keep it in standard. unboxing order. If you've been on the channel, you know how it goes. I like to go accessories first because that's a lot simpler. So yes, that's box number, it looks like a 2. Shape that looks like a 2. Next up is box shaped like, with a symbol shaped like a backslash, I guess. Same details as before. Transformers logo, Haslab logo, or Hasbro logo, Haslab logo on either side, I think. Yes. Nothing on the bottom. When you open this one up, you get 3 jets, a gun, and 7 breast animals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes. All right. Let's open her up. And they just seem to be held in by this layer of plastic, which I'm ever thankful for because I prefer that system immensely. Can I get it out from the back? Let's move that to the side so that we can take a look at everything in the set. So this is Liokaiser's gun. It's also Kill Bison's cannon on his back. It has these 2 removable segments because they're on 5mm ports. It is a bit of a complaint. This is intensely gappy, and I'm fine with it for the stands. This seems like a bit much, though. I don't really love it. They can be, I think, pivoted to the front if you want a more front-facing cannon, or to the, not to the back. That's too small of a port, but they're mainly meant here. And also, you could put them on the top, because you get 2 of these smaller cannons on the main attachment. We'll take a better look at this on the Kill Bison tank, but it is included here. This is Liokaiser's main gun, so I'll put that to the side as well. But next up, this is the breast force, because their main gimmick is that on their breasts, their chests, whatever, they have little animal weapon partners. They're kind of like the Target Masters, mixed with like the Power Masters a little bit. They don't activate any transformation gimmicks. But it's kind of like that. So I guess we'll start here. I believe this is Jarugas. They are in gun, or no, this is the bison. This is the bull one. So they are in chest mode as of now. So as you can see, this is chest mode for Kill Bison, I think. Yes, or drill. No, this is drill horns. This is drill horns. This is a rhino. This is it in gun mode because it can be a gun. It can be held like that. But mainly we're going to take a look at it in animal mode. So the transformation seems simple enough that I can do it on camera here. Here it is. It's very similar to the Target Masters and Micro Masters from Siege. It has a matte finish, interestingly enough. I guess I can 2x zoom it real quick. Yes, here he has a little Decepticon logo on his back. His little red eyes are painted. Oh, he's so cute. He's got a little rhino horn at the front. He's got these 4 little legs that are all ball jointed so they can do a little bit of swiveling, go forward and back, mainly for transformation. I guess you could, if you want him to have a tail, I guess you could pull out the blaster to give him a cute little tail, but that is not necessary at all. Yes, he has his little face, which is the main thing that you see. It looks very good. I like him a lot. I like this gimmick. It's a fun gimmick. We saw it on Deathsaurus with some larger breast animals. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna go with that name because it's a lot easier to remember. I'm just going with the anime accurate names. Yes, next up in the chest force, breast force is Jarugas, the Jaguar. Or no, this is Kill Bison's actually. This is the Bison. I apologize, I'm stupid. For Kill Bison, it has a sort of like V symbol on chest mode. Again, getting it to blaster mode is simple enough. You just flip out the little blaster tail. It can be held by him. We'll take a better look at that later, but of course, the main thing we need to see is, that was a tight connection. Is it in I guess animal mode, robot mode, whatever. So flipping all that out. It's kind of like a Soundwave, if you think about it. But yes, here we have the bison, or the bull breast animal, and it looks nice. I like this head. Having it in a plain gray is a little bit weird, but I guess it works. But yes, nice cute little legs. It looks nice. You can, again, have that be a tail. I'm not having that right now. Here's a symbol. It kind of looks like a bull with wings, but that's kind of cute, so I like it. I really like this face sculpt. It's very, very good. Next up, now this is Jarugas. Sorry for blue balling you. This is the Jaguar, which is a little bit wide for a Jaguar, I guess. Decepticon logo is right there. It all looks very nice. I really like this pink. But yes, this is in chest mode again, as it is now. For blaster mode, you just flip out the little blaster bit. And then for vehicle mode, or for robot mode, or animal mode, whatever, you flip out the head, flip back in that. His legs are, there we go. Jaguar's front legs are very tight. But yes, here he is in Jaguar mode. He looks a little bit more alive, even though he does have a big ass. But yes, again, he is very cute. I love that face. It's interesting that they're all in like a whitish gray, but yeah, I like him. I like him a lot. Again, very cute. I like this little animal gimmick. Next up, I guess we'll look at Liokaiser, which is a lion, if I'm not mistaken, even though he's a jet. So here it is in chest mode. I really like that darker green against the teal. It is very pretty, and of course that's where the Decepticon symbol is. Nice, cute little wings. Again, this is in chest mode. For blaster mode, you just flip it out like so. You got a blaster. Transforms the same as the rest. And then here is the lion breast animal, and this one's probably my favorite. The wings, again, are very silly. It's very silly that just due to the nature of the chest plate. It has wings like that, but this is a very cute, fun face. It's very funny. This is, I think, my favorite of the animal's faces. Yes, very fun, very cute. Winged bits are nice. I love the color, too. It's a beautiful color. It's wonderful. Next up is eagle breast. So here it is in chest mode. It does kind of look like a bird just in a weird position. I think literally it's also in blaster mode because these are the blaster bits. I think you just lay it down like this and then boom, blaster mode. But yes, let's get it into bird mode. Hilariously flat. I love the big red eyes. I think that works very well for it. I kind of wish it had some way of having legs, but I guess keeping it flat made sense. It's a bird. It's a bird. I like that it has a nice little belly. And the Decepticon symbol does look nice. So let's put that down as well. Next up is bat breast. Here it is in chest mode, and I think this also is, oh no, it has a little flip out blaster. Very tight again. So yes, this is in chest mode. I do think this works very nicely as a chest, to be fair. I like that it has so much of the bat visible. That's very cool. But yes, in blaster mode, you just flip out. There we are. Blaster mode, pew pew. Let's get into bat mode. You flip out the wings, and then you can also optionally have the face upward. That's not a bat face at all. It's a weird demon, but it is kind of cool, so I'll respect it. And I like that this one has like a variety of poses you can do. You can have it down like this and have it be kind of like perching, or you can flip it like this and have it flying around, which is more than I can say about eagle. So yeah, very nice. And now for the thing that has never gotten a toy before. I don't think the spear's got a toy before either. Here we have a cobra breast, I guess, or the cobra breast animal. As you can see, it has a very snaky look. Again, it has a bit of the benefit that the bat one does, in which you can kind of see the animal in the chest piece. But yes, it feels fairly similar to previous. I guess this one has a different flip-out handle, depending on chest or weapon mode, which is neat. Do the other? No, just him. Okay, interesting. You do flip that out for the blaster. You do flip out that, and there's blaster mode, which is honestly a very convincing blaster. I like it a lot. And then for robot mode, you do have that out so that it can be a tail. Flip that back down, have that out, and you have a snake, and it looks very cool. This is one of my favorites as well. Unique for this, I like the little painted teeth and the red eyes. Again, him being in green is a new interesting color, and I like the little yellow, I guess, crest or whatever. It looks good. The little Decepticon symbol on his head is cute too. Very good. Very nice. I like him a lot. Yes, now it is time to actually get into the figures of the set 30 minutes into this recording. It's earlier for you because this is being edited down a little bit, but this is going to be a long video. Oh no. Time to look at 7 action figures that eventually combine into an 8th guy. I guess we'll start off with one of the arms. These are big, to be fair. First off, we have Guy Hawk, or I guess that was Hawk Chest, not Eagle Chest, whatever. Eagle Chest came with the last guy, sorry. So yes, this is how it is out of the box, but you gotta flip out the little fins. So I'll try to keep it short because I'm bad at looking at the transformed mode. The transformation does make it look pretty simple. The arms are just kind of hanging out here, and the legs are just kind of hanging out here. Obviously, it's just kind of Guy laying down because he's Guy Hawk. But the jet does look fairly nice. I like the intakes here. These look actually quite good. The jet is a little bit gappy here with all these hinges, but that's for transformation, so I'm willing to forgive it. And this tab is a little annoying, but I do like the orange cockpit. Some panel lining in all of the little lined bits of the jet would be nice because the color of the plastic does kind of eat the details a little bit for my taste. But yeah, we got a nice yellow cockpit, and I love these wings. They're very nice. The Decepticon logo tampoed over where the line is pretty cool. The little gray outer bit with the eggshell white outer bit with the yellow interior is a very nice detail. I love that. The little back wings could maybe use a little bit of paint, but that's okay. I like the little intakes here, as well as the intakes that are on the little combiner hand, which hides that away very nicely. Fairly nice jet, also fairly large. I think he is bigger than, he feels heavier and bigger than the jets for the aerial bots did. I'm not going to do a comparison here yet, maybe in some later video if I cover these guys again, but it is very nice. These wings do flap, but otherwise not really any articulation. That's more for transformations. Next up for the jets, we have Hellbat, or Elbat, who's a different kind of jet, thankfully. He's obviously very similar to Skyhawk, basically doing a lot of the same motions, but in a different flavor, which is actually kind of appreciated. I do like that they're like, hey, they're both going to be jets, that we have that nice symmetry in the arms, but they're going to be a little different. We have these nice missile pods here in the back, a little bit more visible screwage that was hidden here a little bit better by these little wing bits. But it's a lot more obvious here because it just has the one big fin, which actually has some nice paint to it. I love that. That's actually very nice. The bigger wings are, again, in this sort of yellow with the Decepticon logo there, and the white outer, which is a very nice wing shape. This one's obviously a little bit more ramjetty, and these wings also make the arms a little bit more obvious. Again, they're disguised as like these intakes. They're a little bit wide out though, so it doesn't look the greatest. Hinging is very similar, though I do like these little wing flaps there, though it does kind of make the shape a little bit incongruous, whatever. And the red cockpit is very nice. Again, kind of wish some of this was panel lined, but I'll take what I can get in a 7-figure set. Yes, and the bottom is very much, again, guy laying down. And also, they have landing gear, it looks like. They aren't out of the package to keep things as flat as possible, but they do have landing gear. Here we are. Yes, landing gear. Nice, nice. Very nice indeed. I like that a lot. They have landing gear. So does Skyhawk. So they can just sit there. For the final jet, this one's a little bit different because he is the torso. That is Liokaiser. He feels nice. Again, out of the package, you gotta flip out wings. Not both of them yet. That's for transformation, I guess. And again, a third type of jet. It's very nice. The arms are even more evident here. Unfortunately, they just kind of lay at his sides, and they don't hide themselves very well, especially with the sleeker shape of the jet. The jets are a little bit hard, and especially as a combiner, I'll live. The hinges at the front, though, are a lot better hidden. Different transformation scheme plus the more congruous colors mean that they look a lot nicer. And honestly, the details are coming out a lot nicer in this nicer color. I just love this teal. Looking at the back, there's no real thruster detail, unfortunately, but it does look nice overall. I love the way that the greebling looks. It looks great. I love it so much. And then, of course, the wings, they do have nice raised Decepticon logos. These are going to be the main Decepticon logos on Liokaiser's chest. And they also have some nice yellow and white paint hits, which are very clean from what I can tell. Teal here is also fairly clean. It doesn't match perfectly, but it matches close enough. Obviously, the bottom is, again, just guy laying down, but his wings do flap out, depending on how you want him to fly. Obviously, this is in part for Liokaiser mode, but the wings are posable, which is nice. I appreciate it. So yeah, that's box number 2, the jets. And I'm already impressed so far, but I haven't even gotten to the figure modes, so we'll get to those afterwards, because then we gotta transform them. I guess we'll do box number Fucked Up E, or Fucked Up T, actually. Tipsy T. It's a thinner box. Haslab and the little T there. On this side it has 60821, I guess. Transformers, Hasbro, Haslab again on this side, and nothing much. Let's get it open to see who's in this box. Yes, more accessories. Forgot about that. Well, you know, we'll look over it with a different guy. So let's first off open that up and take a look at the first of the legs, that being Kill Bison, who is just kind of treaded a rectangle. It's very silly. This is definitely the worst. It does feel very heavy, though. This is very nice and heavy, actually. I like how this feels in hand. And I really like the nice brown color. It's got an orange tint to it, and it looks very nice. And the front does look nice in that white. The treads are also very nicely painted. They look so good, honestly. They are wheeled on pinwheels, so it should roll fairly nicely. Sorry for not showing that off. The top... This becomes incongruous because of this. The gun really needed a little bit more detail here up front to really make this feel a little bit more natural as a cannon, or maybe have a little bit more here, because this does complete the look, and it is very much just a rectangle. It's not quite tanky enough. I don't hate it. Obviously, the details are the same on both sides, and there's that, and looking at the bottom, again, guy laying down, but it is, from what I can tell, the weakest of them, and I like that piping detail, though, on this side with the foot. Very cute. Very neat. Next up, we're going to take a look at Jaruga, which means we need to take a look at a couple more accessories because he comes with a little bit bit more than the others. He doesn't just come with a chest. He comes with thighs. But yes, this is Liokaiser's thighs. This is the only parts forming piece on the set, which is honestly kind of nice. Yeah, it performs one of the more important duties. One for about there. And also, these wheels are spinny because they can attach to the vehicle mode as a missile pod. We'll go over articulation later when we are in Liokaiser mode, but yes, it's a nice missile pod, and I imagine it could stand even on its own as a missile pod. So Daruga also has a pair of separate missiles. They both look like this. They're the same. They have a trapezoidal shape. A little bits of red paint on the missiles, which isn't the cleanest, but it looks nice, and some nice detailing there. You get 2 of those. Those are supposed to attach, I guess, to here-ish, I think. Let me actually check the instruction manual before I do this. And I guess you can attach them to the side if you want it to be less parts formery. Yes, they attach to the front there, and there you have the race car with a missile pod on its back. That is Daruga. This one I actually like a lot. I like the little spoiler at the front with its little spool. And again, it's fairly large, all things considered, for something that's kind of deluxe-y, kind of Voyager-y in that weird area. The white lines on the side with the yellow line in the middle does look very nice with the orange paint apps on the front. The orange is a little bit less clean than I would like, but the Decepticon tampograph is very nice. The wheels have silver rims, and they're all pinned, so that's good. The missile pod is very much just kind of the legs, but it does look nice, and I believe you can put on the thighs. Let me figure that out. You can combine it with the thighs for storage. You attach that there. Yes, there's 2 portholes here and some portholes on the back here. There we go. Okay, it's sort of a 3-point connection. Kind of want to attach the wheels at the same time, and it's not the sturdiest thing in the world. Here it is, the massive missile pods. Very silly, but I honestly kind of love it as a weird bit of a weird way to store the thighs. Yeah, this top attachment doesn't really attach super well, so I'd recommend just kind of have it lightly rest there, and then you flip down the little wheel attachments. You 5mm peg them into these wheels. So yeah, neat car. And that's this box out of the way, and I am quickly running out of space. Thankfully, there's only 2 more guys left. In box number accented V, or long V, or whatever the fuck. Haslab logo there. 60801. Haslab there with the symbol again. Transformers on the front, which we open up to see these guys. Drillhorn and Death Cobra. So let's take a look at Drillhorn first. He has a little bit of assembly out of the box because one of his parts is the drill. Which is nice and silvery, and I love the drill. A little bit small, but that's okay. And then we take it to the other leg bot, attach it there. There we go. A little bit tight on the first blush. But here is Drillhorn. Actually very nice. He does work a lot better than the other leg, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, I actually kind of like him. Maybe actually... This is a weird design thing. Maybe if they tried to have this backpack be as minimal as possible, given it's not really as much there on there, and then flip it around like this, it would look a little better, but whatever. Drillhorn looks great. I like this little yellow shape that's on both sides, painted in under the foot. They didn't need to do that, but it provides a very nice vehicle mode detail. Again, the treads are very nice, very similar to Kill Bison. And this blue is a nice blue. It's a nice deep navy blue, and I love the fins on the back. It's just a very aggressive shape, and the fin there. Obviously, it's a bit gappy from the top because it's just kind of a guy laying down again. That's kind of how this transformation goes. And you can see his little head. But yeah, I quite like it a lot, if I'm going to be honest. Nice drill. And finally, while I didn't have any of these guys as toys before because Liokaiser is very hard to get in America, this guy never got a toy. Next up, we have Death Cobra, the anime exclusive member who has this little piddly blaster, I guess, which I guess goes on the underside. Helicopter blade, I guess. And we'll attach it to our helicopter so that you get this chunky helicopter. It's in a nice green. This green is very nice. I really love the cockpit. It is so pretty, actually. The yellows that are right there are very nice. He does very much have his legs bricking up under because he is very much based off of the Hellbat Skyhawk mold, turning that jet into a helicopter, retooling it. The back fin is nice. It also has a nice little spinny bit, and I think it captures the detail nicely, the green plastic. He has these 2 little wings as well, so that he can go around as a helicopter, and there's a little porthole there. and the little flaps there, and he looks nice. And yeah, that's all the vehicle modes. I tried to get through them quick because I'm bad at vehicle mode talk, and besides, we have a lot to get through. So here we have everyone in their vehicle modes. Do you have landing gear, Leozak? Yes, you do. I gotta get landing gear out for Skyhawk as well. Let's get you like that. Nice in front and center, so we can get a good look at everyone's vehicle modes together. And yeah, this is a lot. Obviously, you're getting those, and also all of the accessories, which are like there and there and there. But we haven't even scratched the surface this far in, because I need to take a look at their vehicle or the robot modes. Yes, there's just so much in this set. It does feel worth its price. It was like $300 a year ago, which, like, Jesus Christ, $300 is a lot of money, but it is feeling kind of worth it. But yeah, I think it sounds like a good enough time to get them into their individual robot modes, which I'm gonna do right now. Yeah, that was certainly Transforming 7 guys. To be fair, their transformations are fairly simple, all things considered. That doesn't mean they're not fun. They are quite fun. I feel like they have some nice, satisfying clunks and clacks that go throughout them. But yeah, they're very simple, which makes sense. They have 3 things that they need to do, so keeping it as simple as possible for each step makes a lot of sense. But yes, at the end, you get these 7 figures, which you're not getting a full grasp of, so let me... Obviously, they're all about the same height. I guess a Diego Luna 6-inch scale for scale. It's like, yeah, a little under 6 inches, but that's workable. I guess let's go one by one. I'll start in the back with the weirdo of the group, Death Cobra. Yes, here is Death Cobra in all his glory. Fairly basic and green. Obviously, I'm going in their basic of base modes. I don't have their chests on them, which we will take a look at in a second. So yeah, here he is in full, but also, of course, you gotta give him his chest, so you gotta flip that down. I believe you flip that up, and I think from there you're good to go to just plunk that thing right there and call it a day. And yes, here he is with his chestmaster all the way on him. He's very back heavy. There we go. Clicked that better into place. His head feels a little bit weirdly flat. Obviously, I think that comes down to him being an anime original design. He, again, never had a toy before this, but it does capture his look fairly well. His eyes feel a tad big, but I do like the yellow painted on either side. His face is oddly narrow, and obviously all their heads, I think, are a bit small, but that's just the nature of the transformation. And I like the little red eyes at the top and the little fangs. It looks nice, and there's the back of his head. Obviously, he has the most kibble out of any of them, though this does make a nice snake tail sort of dealio. I do like this bit of kibble. And I do like that his rotor blades, you flip them around, because this is the spinny side, you flip them around to store on the back here, and they stay in place, so you don't have to worry about them. You can pose them however you want, really. And yeah, but yes, onto the chest, obviously he has this. If you take that off, you have a little bit of a Decepticon symbol there, but it's mostly a hinge and unpainted detail. Plunk that back in, because it looks a lot better like that. You can still see some portholes thanks to the shape of the chest, but it does look very nice on there. He has a weirdly angled hip, though I think that's just kind of the nature of this transformation to make room for arm articulation in the final mode. I like how round his arms are, especially in comparison to the other vehicles who he shares a general mold with. The nice rounder intakes make some very nice difference. And I like the little light green that really makes itself more evident here than it did in vehicle mode. It looks very nice. Dark green lower limbs as well, and the little gray in between does look nice. It's not painted the thighs, but I like this nice like scale, like sculpting, whatever words are bad. The little green knee pad, or the yellow knee pads look nice. The green down here, obviously there's a little, they had the gappiness in the thighs fairly well, one by being a hand and the other by that. Though the inner arms are fairly gappy and not nearly as hidden. And his gray little toesies are cute. But yeah, that's Death Cobra. I'll real quick get into his articulation so that you can get a general gist of it. This articulation segment will probably be similar for others, but I'm gonna go articulation by articulation. So head is on a ball joint, very tight ball joint. Can look up fairly far, all things considered. Yeah, can look up fairly far, can look down not a ton, little bit of tilt, not a ton, and then obviously your full swivel. You have universal joints at the shoulders, which are able to swivel around like that, and go out not quite all the way because of that getting in the way, but it's okay. You have a bicep swivel that's being stopped by mold flash. This will get you a full bicep swivel if the mold flash isn't in the way. I'll have to sand that down later. But yes, mold flash is getting in the way, but that's okay. Hands are thankfully on ball joints, so they can swivel and go in and out thanks to the transformation, but they do swivel, so that's nice. This mold does have a waist swivel, thankfully, but it is very high up, and the chests tend to get in the way. Thankfully, this one has a hinge here, so it can wiggle out of the way, and obviously there's also a slight bicep crunch, more there when the breast animal isn't there, and also the sideways crunch thanks to the elbow. Hips or universals move forward that far, back that far, and out that far. You have a fairly low thigh swivel, but a thigh swivel nonetheless. You have a single jointed knee and an ankle tilt. So yeah, fairly standard articulation. A lot more than I thought was going to be there, actually. I was worried there wouldn't be like a waist swivel of any sort, but thankfully there is. So yeah, he moves good. He moves way better than you would expect. But yeah, let's move him to the side so we can take a look at the next one. All right, next up figure-wise, let's take a look at the first of the legs, Kill Bison. His robot mode is fairly nice. It's obviously a little simple and a little bit awkward. We'll get to some of the awkwardness later. Obviously, real gappy without his chest animal, so let's get him in there. Obviously, he can also hold it as a gun. I didn't show that off with him, but I already showed you the gun mode, so then you gotta make sure the ball joints are properly aligned for each of these. There we are. He looks far more complete now. Let's do a full rotation on Kill Bison. Why don't we? So here he is. Obviously less painted on the back, and the back is a lot of the alt mode. Very thick, very kibbly, but I do kind of like the thickness. So let's take a look at him from the top. I love the little bison horn helmet. It looks very good with the two little eyes painted out in red. I like the horns, I like the shape of it, and I like the one with the mouth plate. It looks very good, and his singular visor is also very cool. Obviously the chest is a bit plain without the breast animal, mainly because it's very unpainted. It's a lot of this brown, which can kind of get lost in the sauce, but with it adds a lot more dimension. And of course, if you want a weapon still, you can use one of the spears if you so choose, and that's nice. And I do like the painted little lower torso bit. It does help create some breakup, and it looks nice. The arms, a lot of it is this large plinth, which has this shaping to it. I like how aggressively far back it goes. And it's the kind of thin arms, though he does have some nice bicep swivel, which is very nice to see. But yes, the arms are fairly simple, some nice lineage on them, though I do like the little spots of paint to help, like, I guess, show where, like, the lower upper arm is, whatever. It helps create a nice division, makes it look visually nice. The big yellow stripes are nice. I like these thighs, fairly small, fairly simple, but they have some nice greebling on them, and obviously the lower legs are massive. They're mostly this tank tread, but I do think it works. Obviously, there's a lot of it that is the Liokaiser parts, but I think it works. It looks very, very, very good, very nice. I love how big he is. He's just so big, and he creates a nice bruiser on the team. Yeah, very nice. Obviously, the back kibble is a bit of a lot. Obviously, this one can use these guns as well if they so choose, and you can take it off like so, and he gets a little bit cleaner without it on, but this keeps it all together. But yes, let's cover articulation real quick. Head is again on a ball joint, able to look up very nicely far. I love how they can all look up. Down, not so much, not really any tilt, but they can swivel. Shoulders are weirdly universal. You have a hinge down here at the bottom, which goes like that. It looks a lot better in person than it does on camera, honestly. It's not great, obviously, but and like that does kind of screw with it. Oh, yeah, weird, but it works a lot better than I thought it would. So yes, you can get a full swivel out of that, though it's at a weird angle. Hinge upward about that far, though this will limit it depending on where you are. You have a very low bicep swivel, but a bicep swivel nonetheless. A single jointed elbow, which goes about 90 degrees, maybe a little bit more depending on the angle. Hands are on ball joints, so they can swivel and go in. Or no, they're just on mushroom pegs, so they just swivel. The others have ball joints, I apologize. Waist swivel, below where the cannon is. But yes, waist swivel. The cannon will get in the way if you have it configured like that. Hips are able to kick forward, that far, back. The cannon gets in the way, but without it, it can kick all the way. And then outward, about that far. Let me put the cannon back. Outward, about that far. You get all the way. Nice and universals. Thigh swivel. Single jointed bend at the knee. Little under 90. The leg gets in the way. Is there ankle tilt? Yeah, there is. It's very much just the tip of that, but there is ankle tilt to help it look a little bit more natural. So yeah, it's nice that they all seem to have the standard points of articulation. I was worried that they wouldn't, which at this price would have been unacceptable, but thankfully they do. Next leg is going to be very similar. We have drill horn. Obviously, again, very yappy, though I do like that the chest points have more paint on them, which I think works a little bit better. But yeah, he looks a bit gappy. Obviously, that's combiner kibble, but let's get his chest animal in, who's this cute little rhino. And I would recommend having the ball joints pointed inward while you do it, so that you can just go like so, and then it can correct itself as you go in. And there he is, much better looking with his little piece of chest work. Let's do a full rotation now that we are here to take a look. It does look very nice. The kibble is fairly simple, fairly standard, fairly manageable, just the drill, and his back is fairly clean otherwise. And yeah, let's take a closer look once again. So starting off with the head, he has this nice blue head. It's a bit darker on camera than it is in person, but it does look nice. The horn at the front is very good, and I like the little ears at the side. His helmet does look nice. I like his red eyes against the blue skin, which does look nice. Again, this dark blue is beautiful. I love it. Even though there is no real torso here, it doesn't really need it as much as the other guy because he doesn't need the illusion of a waist. And these little paint apps do look good and add a lot. And the chest is very stunning. It is very much in gray and black, but they fit with his color scheme. It works well. The arms are very different because, again, the treads are on the back. You flip them around like so in the transformation. So they do kind of just sit there. They do create an interesting silhouette, though it does help his arms look a little bit different from Kill Bison's. And I do love the little bits of detailing. This little greebling here, down to the silver, or like the gray, actually, here, to separate the upper arms from the lower arms, though this treaded look is very nice. And the hands also look good. They're very similar. They're basically the same as Kill Bison's, but that works. It's fine. Waist doesn't have this crotch paint app, which I didn't know on Kill Bison, but it doesn't have the little crotch paint app. He's very much a sea of blue, but it is a nice blue, so I'm not complaining. The little yellow paint apps here, I also didn't note, but they make a lot more contrast here than before, since the legs are mostly blue, though outside of some white paint apps here. Again, very nice, very thick. I love how they look. Again, the yellow paint apps on the sides do look nice. Blue toesies also look good, and yeah, very similar to Kill Bison, though different enough to where he does feel unique, which I appreciate. With them being basically the same, it's appreciated, the little differences that are there. Articulation is going to be very similar to Kill Bison's. Head is on a ball joint, looks up that far, not very down, no real tilt, swivels side to side, though it's a bit hard since it is a small head. Arms get, again, that full swivel. There is less in the back to get in the way of stuff. Yes, they get that full, somewhat awkward swivel, and hinge upward, as expected. Again, there's less in the way, thankfully, so it can hinge outward there. And it looks a little bit less natural because there is less of a plinth. You might want to have that and then that. Yes, you have that. Low bicep swivel, similar to Kill Bison. Hinge upward there. Swivel at the wrist, no inward. Swivel at the waist, again. Make sure you get out of the way of the kibble. Kicks forward that far, back. This one's going to be permanently blocked because of the butt shape. So it can only really go back that far, though it can go outward all the way, which is appreciated. Thigh swivel, single joint knee again. Can't go full 90, but it works. And ankle tiltage, a bit tighter this time. But yeah, he moves as well as Kill Bison, which is, to say, pretty dang good. Let's get him pointing in the other direction so that he can be a little bit more unique. Next up, I'm going to take a look at Jaruga. So yeah, he probably looks the worst without the chest animal, this just big gaping gap in his torso. I mean, it's to be expected, but it's also a little bit unfortunate. So let's take a look at him. Let's get his breast animal. Where are you, Jaruga? Here it is. So yeah, again, do the usual steps, and then place it into the torso, like so, and he already looks more complete already. So let's get a nice look at this rectangular boy, because he's the most rectangular. He's also the most flat, because he doesn't really have a ton of combiner kibble, because all the combiner kibble is left off to the side. But yeah, I actually like the backpack. It has a nice vehicle-y shape to it. But yeah, here he is. Let's take, again, a nice close look. Okay, head is on a ball joint, as you can see, and I like the shaping of it. I like that he has sort of glasses look. Again, you're getting kind of the full swath of Transformers face designs in this set. The shaping is nice. It has a nice sort of hexagonal feel. Like the eyes, like the panthery nose, the eye, the little ears, and I like he's got like a little smirk, which does look nice. The torso, again, is a bit hollow without it, but with it, it does look fairly nice. This gray isn't the most appealing, but it does work, and I like the little bits of purple. They kind of splash out, but they do still fit with his darker color scheme, and the little bits of pink do fit with the red of the eyes. So that's nice, and yeah. Arms are fairly plain. This bit is painted, but otherwise is very basic. But the greebling is nice, and the grayish black does kind of eat the detail, but it's okay. Waist, very simple again. Little toe cable here, kind of to replicate what's on the back there. And basic hips. This is a very neat design decision. The wheels popping out of the thighs. You don't see that often, though it is appreciated. Little yellow paint apps here, I like a lot on the knees. And the greebling on these lower legs, again, get kind of eaten, but they do look nice. Missile pods, very flat feet with some 5mm ports, but they do work fine. There he is. Yeah. He's one of the more unique members. He's one of the ones that doesn't get retooled at all, so that's nice. Head, ball joint, goes back and forth. Can't go up nearly as much as his brothers, but that's okay. But it does swivel. Universal shoulders, be wary of the wheels, I guess, when doing that, but otherwise you're okay. Bicep swivel, again, a little bit low, but it's fine. Single jointed elbow goes about 90. Wrists are on ball joints that go down, but also can swivel if needed. Waist swivels. There's a bit of a stopping point on either side, but that's okay. Hips go outward nearly all the way, stopped by the wheels, and kick forward all the way, and back all the way. There's a thigh swivel despite the wheel. Knees are on single jointed bends, but they're able to move very far thanks to the transformation. And you still have an ankle tilt, which includes the little missile pods. So yeah, probably one of the better ones, just because he is able to deal with a lot of the kibble better, just because it isn't really there. Let's move him to the back. So we can take a look at our Jet boys. First off, I'll take a look at Skyhawk, because why not? His head, honestly, the Jet guys do look the best without their torso, their breast animals. This is a very nice torso. I kind of like the next ones a little bit better, but the Jet arms have the least gappage and look the nicest, though obviously you gotta get it on there by plonking that on like so. It will probably limit articulation a little bit, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Yes, so let's get a full 360 look. Obviously a lot of kibble on these guys. The wings kind of go out a bit far, though you can flare them out if you want to have a winged look. Yeah, there's just a lot of wing there, and a lot of kibble, but I mean, I guess that's jet formers for you. Instead of hitting ×2, I hit stop record, so I guess this is 2 recordings now. Anyways, head is here. I like it. Mine doesn't have paint chipping. It's a bit of a weird shape, especially for how small it is, so I don't super love it. That's probably my least favorite of the heads, honestly, but it works fine. I like the glasses look that are painted in red, and I like the beak. It looks nice, and there's like an illusion of eyes, though they aren't painted this time. The pink plastic does look nice. It does kind of eat the details, but it's a very appealing color, I think, overall, and that's able to balance that out. Arms are very nice. I like the intakes at the top, the little bits of rectangular greebling here, the gray there, the little bits of greebling on the lower. It doesn't feel like too much of a deviation away from the animation models, while still having some nice detail to make it feel nice in 3D. The torso, obviously, a lot of it is the breast animal. You get a little bit more of that waist a bit with that Decepticon symbol there, though you can kind of still see it below this sort of like waistcloth look. The wings aren't always going to be there, and the backpack does kind of mess with the silhouette a little bit, makes it look a little bit more blocky than he is, and obviously the waist is a little bit asymmetrical, but that's fine. I like the hips, or the thighs being in this nice gray. The yellow paint apps on the knees looks nice, as well as these little bits of gray on either side of that. The lower legs have a bit of a matte texture, which again kind of eats the detail, makes it look a little cheaper than I would like, but I do like the detailing, and I like these big clumpery feet with the wings going backwards. But yeah, that's how he looks like that. And now I need to take a look at his articulation. I'm going a little bit crazy because this is a long recording. Ball joint at the head, able to look up very far. He's able to get a nice flight pose, I guess. And it has a nice swivel, no real tilt because it's including his neck. That's part of why I think it looks weird, but whatever. Arms are on universals, able to swivel all the way around. The intakes at the top, while they look very cool, do limit that bit of articulation, though if you want a little bit more, you can flip the intake back like so, and get a lot of articulation. So play with it however you may choose. And yeah, bicep swivel goes all the way around. It's a little bit low. Single joint elbow goes more than 90 degrees. It'll be a little bit different depending on where you angle it, but it goes more than 90 degrees. Wrist swivel is a ball joint, so it can also go in and out, similar to Death Cobra. There's a waist swivel. Again, it's more of a torso swivel. You kind of got to unhook it from there, but you do get a bit of swivel. You get more swivel without that. You get, again, that bicep crunch, though it will pop off the breast animal, so you're not going to really use it without or with the breast animal, though again, thankfully, while these guys have the most articulation without your breast animals, they look the nicest without them as well, so that's nice. And you also get the kick outward that way if you want that. Though it is nice that you can still use the waist swivel with the animal attached, even if it's just a little bit. It allows for a little bit of extra dynamism, and it just looks good. Hips are able to kick forward that far, back not really far because there's a butt plate in the way, outward basically a full 90. Thigh swivel, single jointed knee goes a little bit less than 90, a little bit disappointingly, honestly, but that's okay. And ankle tilt goes all the way, though you're not going to be able to really use all of it because of that blockage. But yeah, Guy-Hawk does look nice, but you know who looks a little bit nicer than Guy-Hawk? Hellbat, the weird little schemer of the group. I actually kind of like his torso a little bit better than Guy-Hawk's. I think the strip of blue adds a lot of character and a lot of flavor to his torso in a way that a lot of the others without their chest animals kind of miss out on. I kind of wish others had a little bit more paint apps like that, but okay, whatever. Let's get his bat torso in there. So flip that, and that. Yeah, I can see why you'd want to keep it, because it is kind of wicked to have just a big demon face on your torso. Let's give him all the way around. Again, a lot of kibble, as is with the jets. You can flip that out to kind of give like a seekery look, if you want something a little bit less like bulky, but yeah, it's to be expected. He's a little bit back heavy, so be careful with posing, but let's take a closer look while we're here. The demon face is creating a bit of shadow on his face, obviously, so I'm going to take it off so that we can look at it a little bit better. I will put it back on in a second, but yes, very cool face. I love Hellbat's face. Little bat wings on the side, little red eyes that are above it, the smaller red eyes below it, and his little face plate. I think this is my favorite of their head designs. As much as it is a little bit weird to have the neck sculpted in like that, it's a little weird, but his is one of my favorites. Let's put this torso back on. The arms are the same as Guy-Hawk's, but in blue. So a lot of the same stuff I said before there, I can say here. There's a 5 million report there, so you can put weapons there. Unfortunately for all these guys, there is a big gap there. I kind of wish it was able to be covered up, though I don't really see where room for that would be. Maybe like down here, but that might get in the way of other stuff. So I get it. Torso, again, is dominated by the big bat guy, which is kind of crazy, kind of hilarious, to be honest, but it does look good. I like the Decepticon symbol, as gappy as it is, and it does at least give that pinched waist sort of effect, even though there is the backpack breaking that silhouette again. The little yellow here at the crotch does look nice. It was not there on Guy-Hawk. But yeah, again, the weird canted hip, what you're going to do there. Thighs are very similar. The lower legs are quite similar, though there is less gray paint, which is a little bit unfortunate, though it is here at the top of the feet, which does look nice. And I like the little yellow paint apps at the knees. But yeah, his articulation, as you can probably guess, is going to be very similar to Guy-Hawk's. So yeah, head is on a ball joint, able to look up, not actually as far as Guy-Hawk's, unfortunately, but there is a little bit of tilt and a little bit of swivel, good for giving him character. Again, the arms are going to be limited by the thrust holes or whatever, but you can flip them down, so choose and get them out of the way. Mine has a little bit of flash, but that's okay. Bicep swivel, greater than 90-degree single bend, ball joint there. Swivel at the upper torso. It's a little bit harder to get to it without popping off the chest animal, though again, thankfully he is the best looking one. You might want to put him into a pose and then put the chest animal on afterwards. If you are posing him, that would be my guess. And again, without the breast animal, he's got that full ab crunch, which looks amazing. And then of course, the angled hip. Hips are able to go forward that far, back not really anything because of that, and outward all the way. Thigh swivel, single jointed knee, which isn't able to go super far, but it works, and ankle pivot. So yeah, same as Guy-Hawk, but a little bit better because I think he looks cooler. But then finally, leader of the team, we have chunky Leo Zach. Again, the torso is a little bit flat and plain without the breast animal, unfortunately, and his thighs are very big, so let's give a full swivel, give that a quick look. And finally we have a little cute little lion. All the breast animals basically transform the same except for the birds and the snake. The land ones transform the same. And there we go. He looks way better with that on his chest. And he's got a little bit less kibble because wings are actual bits of accoutrement, and you can angle them backward if you want a little bit of extra detail, but that's mainly for combined mode, which we haven't even gotten to yet. My god. But yes, here's his backpack. And yeah, let's get a closer look at him. His head is very nice. It has that nice maned look. It's a little bit rectangular for my taste, but it makes sense for this era of Transformers. Mine is a little bit of a scrapage, but what are you gonna do? Oh yeah, he has a little Decepticon symbol there, which hides behind this Decepticon symbol here. But yeah, the chest looks very nice with the breast animal on. It adds that nice pop of color that it needs, because without it, you saw it had a nice amount of greebling, but that was just popping off. But yeah, it had a nice amount of greebling, but it was all in white and it didn't look great. But this nice pop of color in the very nice teal and green, very good. But yeah, I like it. I like it a lot, and I feel like his torso does do enough to get away from the kibbly backpack to create a good silhouette, though he does still feel a little wide there. The arms I really like. I like the shoulder patty look of these painted shoulders. They look very good, and I like the way they flare out with the kibble. The biceps are simple. The lower arms have some very cool shaping to them, though. I like this diagonal shape, and of course, from fairly standard hands. He actually has some waist guards with his waist crotch section thingy, and it does end up looking very nice. I like the way that it looks, and the greebling looks nice, even though it is on the back, kind of covered up by the backpack. Thighs are in that nice teal color, and they go all the way down, though they do get hidden by these knee pads, which shows his very thick calves, unfortunately. They're a bit wider for my taste, though I do like the greebling on them, and obviously there are these weird little bits of kibble, but they do work, I think. Obviously he's making a lot of sacrifices for vehicle mode, not vehicle mode, combined mode, but we'll get there when we get there. I like these feetsies. The little white detail on the teal does look nice. But yeah, that's a robot mode, but I need to take a look at him in posing. Obviously these hinge downward and inward and outward, which is nice. Head is on a ball joint, though it is going to be able to look up very well. A little bit of tilt, but not a lot. No real downward, unfortunately, but that's okay. Shoulders are on universals, limited by the backpack, but you get more than enough of what you would want. Bicep swivel, again, lower placed. About 90 degrees of bend, maybe slightly less, but not noticeably less. Wrist swivel is a little bit tight on that ball joint, and it can hinge inward and outward. Waist swivel, you kind of got to move the backpack out of the way. You kind of got to hinge it out of the way for the full waist swivel to be usable, but you do get a full waist swivel. Yeah, you kind of got to just stoop it out a tiny little bit just for that to be usable. And these hinge outwards so that you can kick forward, not all the way because of some of the limits, backward, not all the way, and outward all the way. There is a is there a thigh swivel? Okay, gotta unhook the knees, sorry. There's a knee swivel, though it works as a thigh swivel, fine. A single jointed knee that goes 90, though that does stop the the knee swivel, unfortunately. And ankle tiltage and a little bit of downward, I think, maybe. We'll get there. But yeah, Leozak moves fine, and they all move fine, and I'm glad that they all have the basic points of articulation. I feel like if they weren't a box set and they weren't an expensive Haslab, they wouldn't. Let's get Death Cobra back in. They're just kind of there. But yeah, it's nice that they all have all those points of articulation. They all move nicely. They all feel nice. Their colors are very bright, which might cause some issues depending on who you are. They do kind of drown out some of the details in their bright colors, but they do look animation accurate and nice. And yeah, as a set, they stand well with each other. I'm kind of looking at it from this above angle, but they do hang out very nicely, and it's nice. But unfortunately, you're probably not going to keep them like this, because you're going to integrate this so that you can make a combined mode. So why don't we, huh? Shall we? And here we are back at that 0.5 camera size, because there's a lot going on here. This is Liokaiser in his full glory. I had to leave for a second just because of time, but goodness gracious, he is a lot. He's big. Again, Diego Luna for scale. Jesus Christ, he's large. Is he the largest Transformer I own? I don't think so. I think that's still Omega Prime, or the other Prime, Star Convoy, who you haven't seen yet if you're watching this video on release. It will be out eventually. But yeah, goodness. Fucking gracious. And he looks great too. I love, love, love how he looks. He looks stunning. He looks great. He has a nice set of proportions. All the issues in earlier modes all make sense in the context of this. So I'm gonna go up, zoom in a bit. But yeah, here we have Liokaiser and his head. Obviously, there's a little bit of back kibble on him. It's mostly Jaruga. You can kind of see him, but it's not that bad. It gives him a bit of back, a little bit of character. It gives him a little bit of width. I don't mind it too much. I honestly kind of like it. But yes, here's his head, which looks amazing. The Liokaiser head is one of my favorites, and it just looks so good with the general liony shape, the animal top with the normal face-plated bottom with some nice, like, sculpted detail there. The ears, which you pop up right at the end of the transformation. Mwah. Beautiful, 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 beautiful head sculpt. It's a little small, but I think it works. It helps him feel big, I guess, in being small, but it looks good. The arms, obviously, you're gonna get a little bit of hollowness from the wings, but they don't look bad at all. And obviously the wings are different, but the general shaping is the same. I can let it fall now. The arms. Less hollowness on these lower wings, thankfully, though you do get an R. I really like this, like, rebeling here. I think the way it gets revealed is very nice. I think it works very well. And his fucking hands, I love these hands. They have some nice posability. They have like a 3-finger trigger finger split, and they have a nice clawed look to them. And it just looks very, very cool. And obviously it's essentially the same on both sides. But yeah, moving up again. The torso is kind of Liozak's backpack, but in a way that I think works really well. The wings are nice. You kind of gotta lock them in place. Obviously, mine are a little bit lopsided, but the raised Decepticon symbols are a nice, nice touch. Yeah. Yes, the raised Decepticon symbols are a nice touch, and obviously it looks great. The cockpit does kind of protrude a little bit, but I do think it still works and looks nice. It certainly helps, I think, that this is one of the best combiner designs in my opinion. The torso being this big jet and having the wings flare out looks great. Obviously we have the waist, which is the most kibble-y part, I guess, not in terms of like backpack kibble, but it is just like a piece, the hips and thighs, though I do like the way the wheels integrate. They look quite good, and they lock in very well. There's a lot of nice like little bits that lock, like the little cannon bits there at the side, and then like the way that this stoops in is very satisfying. Overall, this combination is super satisfying. It's the main benefit of it not having much combiner skeleton is that the individual parts do get a lot of work done in their transformations. I don't think it compromises the individual robots all that much. I do think that it might be a little bit hard for future, I guess, combiners to quite do this, in part because this is 6 parts, so it has a little bit more wiggle room, but also just because this does have a bit of extra budget thanks to it being a Haslab. It has a little bit of extra wiggle room, a little bit of extra space to breathe as a project. But yeah, it looks nice. I love the little yellow paint apps. I think it works very well. And the thighs being these just big gray plinths is great. And I'm glad they aren't just stuck to the legs. Obviously the legs have those little thoops in, which again, I like the little bits of transformation. Most of the legs is just getting them back into vehicle mode, but the little bits that are extra are nice. The arms are the most intricate alongside the torso, and I guess alongside Liozak's torso piece, but the thighs do look nice. They are not thighs, the calves look nice. They have a nice hexagonal shaping, which I think looks really cool, or double hexagonal, whatever, words and shit. It looks nice, and the colors are great. Again, I love the colors in this set. I think they look very nice, to be fair. Obviously, when you look inside, you see a little bit of kibble, but it's okay. And you have the cannon kind of stuck there for now, and the back looks good too. There's a little bit of you saw it earlier, but the thighs have a little bit of heavy screwage here on the back, but it doesn't look that bad. But yeah, he is amazing, honestly. This is what the set is for. This is the most well-rounded piece of the puzzle. Where all the other bots have a little bit of compromise, which is fair enough given it is a combiner, this has none of that, which I'm very excited about. I'm gonna do a quick little showcase of this as well. This is the shoulder cannon mode for Death Cobra. It's his primary integration when he is not part of the, when he's not an arm. Death Cobra, if you want, can be an arm. He can replace Hellbat, given the lore implications that essentially in universe, Hellbat replaced Death Cobra. So you can have Death Cobra replace Hellbat, which is a pretty neat little bit of gimmickry. Give me a second as I figure out the shoulder cannon. Obviously, part of the shoulder cannon is that you're supposed to put on all the breast masters, but I prefer to leave them where they are. Okay, I'm supposed to thoop those up a little bit. This does kind of leave this arm inert seemingly, so you gotta flip those down. You take the shoulder cannon, and also you flip this in to make room. I guess just kind of slot it on, huh? And there you have the super full mode. He has a shoulder cannon. That is going to gimp articulation a lot, but you can make Death Cobra the shoulder cannon. I want to show this off briefly. These flaps are interesting. They fill out the gapage, but it isn't the greatest. It's obviously a helicopter, but it is nice integration. And of course, I'm not going to show it off here, but you can make him the arm. I'll pull up the... there it is. You can have him be an arm. It adds a little bit of asymmetry and it looks a little messy to my eye, but the arm is an option. It feels nice and well integrated into the lore. Of course, let's also combine the stand while we're here, because you can get him all standing up on it. While we are here, might as well get this all together. Very tight connections on the little thoops, so be careful there. Also, something I didn't note, under the purple, there's a lot of space, and that's because you can store the electromagnetic nunchaku 2 at a time down here, which is actually very nice, and I appreciate that. Yeah, and then you basically just take it, thoop on one of these. There you are. It's a very tight fit, so just be careful. Attach this to his ass end. For the stand. I'm gonna keep him probably on the stand just because in the long term, just to make him match my other victory figures, which I'm unfortunately fuck, guys are falling off. That's not good. The stand is having a bit of time staying connected. There we are, but yes, there it is, and it looks great on the stand. I guess just as a look real quick while we are here, and of course you can combine the electromagnetic nunchaku. How do I? Is this like 4 of them for Liokaiser mode? I might as well get it all comboed up. So for combo mode, you're going to want to have 4 of the spears. 2 of them are just going to have the spikes on them. 2 of them are going to have a spike and a pike, or whatever. There we are. And then you have 3 of these. Here you have that for his combined mode. I'll get it into his hands eventually. Not right now, because I need to show off his articulation, which means I'm going to take off all the stuff that we just put on. Yay and yippee. Alright, so in terms of articulation, Liokaiser's head is ball jointed. Yeah, or maybe it's like it's a hinge and a swivel. So he can look up, not really too far down, but a little bit, and he can swivel all the way around. It's at a bit of an awkward angle, but it works. As mentioned before, the little wings flap forward if you want them to get out of the way of the shoulders, which, swoop that down again, have a full rotation, thank goodness, are able to go out that far on the base hinge, but there's also an extra hinge thanks to transformation that can go out even further. There is a bicep swivel, thank goodness. A single jointed elbow, which goes about 90 degrees, which is workable. Again, I mentioned the hands, they're on wrist swivels, no real downward, but they are wrist swiveled. And you have a hinge at the trigger finger, and a hinge at the connected other 3 fingers, which is pretty neat. So waist is a little bit convoluted. So first off, there's a hinge there. There's a mono hinge at the waist skirt, similar to Armada Prime. And again, similar to Armada Prime, there's a waist swivel. It's a little bit limited, but it does move. And I did drop the bat. I dropped the bat. Yeah, it's not a great waist swivel, but it is there, thank goodness. I would riot if you didn't have a waist swivel. And you're falling out again. So yeah, be careful of the little breast guys when they are tabbed into the thighs in combined mode. They do not love being moved. So hips, otherwise, are able to kick forward all the way, backward. Not a super strong ratchet, it seems, but that could be worse. Back. They do move basically all the way. They are, yeah, basically all the way. They do ram into themselves. And outward, let's move that arm out. Or they're able to move all the way. Very nice. Thigh swivel. Single jointed knee, which can't go all the way 90, but goes far enough. Ankle tilt, which goes all the way. So yeah, all things considered, pretty well articulated, and this is very much the mode you're buying buying this set for. And thankfully, unlike other combiners, I can make a much easier recommendation, I guess. The hard part of this recommendation is that it's a Haslab, so you're not going to be paying what I paid for it anymore, because if you were on the fence before. The knee ratchets are a little weak, by the way. Could be worse, but it just don't be super rough with those knees, and you'll have a good time. But yeah, you're not gonna be able to pay the about 300 that I paid for him, probably. Like, I've seen low 600. Again, on the low end of things, people will be paying crazy amounts, I imagine, because this is good. This might be the best Haslab. I don't know, I don't think it necessarily has the highest highs of Omega Prime, but it doesn't quite have the low lows of that set either. So, this set gets by having very passable QC. Like, any issues I have are very minor, like slight bits of mold flash, which is very easy to fix with like a file, or like a pair of nippers. And what I get out of it is 7, really. I'm gonna get killed by someone, but yeah, 7 pretty dang good individual robots that are actually quite large and dense in comparison to what I expected. Because they, outside of being big, they feel heavy and dense and weighty. And this whole thing, of course, is very nice and weighty. I love how it feels. And in combined mode, you just get probably my favorite combiner that I've ever owned. He's nice and big and solid and posable, and he doesn't have to deal with a combiner skeleton with a ton of kibble, really just this waist bit, and even that is a fun, stupid little missile rack thing on that you just sit on the side. But otherwise, he does still have the fun of a combining robot, which, to be fair, even the ones with combiner skeletons kind of have. They do engineer those pretty well to have pretty fun transformations, but this is just combining in its purest form, such a nice, fun tokusatsu-y design. And I think Liokaiser is one of the best combiners aesthetically as well. The symmetry that goes down the middle, but also having the different colors of each limb to really make him feel like a guy who's been made up of multiple different combined parts. He feels like a combiner that I can fuck with. Yeah, I just think this is a good set, and I think that if you get the chance, you should try to pick it up if you think the price is reasonable, of course. But yeah, that's Liokaiser, one of the best items of the year. I think probably one of the best Haslab items ever, and I do recommend him. If you did enjoy this video, if you found it nice and informative, do let me know by leaving a comment. Well, first by leaving a like. If you did enjoy the video, leave a comment, leaving your thoughts on whatever the heck you think of with this video. Be sure to check the channel for previous videos. While they are older and a little bit worse videos, I have covered Victory Saber and Deathsaurus and Omega Prime, so if you want to see those videos, do check them out. And be sure to subscribe to stay tuned for future videos, because I have other combiners that I do need to cover, and other Transformers in general. So be ready for those when they come out. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you around next time. Bye-bye!